Hello people! Today I have a fun set for you, and I'm sorry this video is kind of on the longer side, but we got a lot to do for this one. Okay, this is a set that I originally saw done by Ralphy Geo's Nails, and as we get farther along in here I will put the picture up of her set. When we start to get to the carving gel, you'll see that. So we're going to start off. I've got some long stilettos that I have prepped already, and we're going to start off with a coat of Beetles, one of their nude colors. As you guys know by now, I'm not much of a fan of the nude colors, but I really did kind of like this one after it was all said and done. But anyway, I had been planning already on doing a set of ice cream nails this summer. This is not the set I had originally planned, but when I saw hers a couple of months ago, I just fell in love with them, and I'm like, I have got to see if I could pull that off. So that is what I did. Now, in the end, okay, those are ready to cure, and now we're going to go in for the second coat. I'm not going to put a second coat on the middle finger because that one is going to be pretty much totally covered with the carving gel, so doesn't need it. Frankly, I probably didn't need that coat I put on there, but it's on there, and that's what we did. My set that at the end, I think could have been a bit neater in some things, but I think for the most part I was able to pull it off fairly well. And it was a very fun set to do. Okay, there's her set right there. See, she had macarons on her other one. I didn't do those. I opted for some other things. But now we're going to go into the carving gel. Now, this I did backwards. I should have started with a bunch of white and then just added a little bit of brown. But like an idiot, I wasn't thinking. And I started off with brown and then added white to it. So the goal here was to get a brown that was lighter to use for the ice cream cones. These carving gels I got from AliExpress a couple, 2-3 years ago maybe. Actually, maybe a little longer than that by now. They came in a set of 12. They were rather inexpensive, but only probably in the last year or so I've actually been really starting to use them a lot more. But yeah, I don't think I showed this entire process because it did take me a while to blend these together and mix them. So at some point it's going to cut off and we're going to jump to the finished piece of brown. And like it also, I didn't make enough for both nails that I needed. So then I had to do this again for the second hand. But oh well, live and learn. I've also sped this section up, as you can see, because it did take a good while to mix. And now I'm realizing it's not as light as I wanted. I should have started it with the other way, but I didn't. So live and learn. I did do it right later on when I did the, I wanted green ice cream for like a pale green for a mint chocolate chip. So I did mix them properly for that one. So I do learn from my mistakes, usually. Okay, and we've got this. I'm going to make sure it's mixed thoroughly, and then I'm going to try and flatten it out. It got to be a bit loose because I was handling it so much. I have learned the more you handle it, I don't know if it's the heat of your hands or just from handling it so much, but it does get kind of looser and sticky and a little bit on the wetter side. I did not add anything to it. This is just how it was. And now it's kind of a crumbled up mess, but we're going to get that in some kind of a long shape that I'm going to be able to cover most of the nail with it. Don't worry that it's kind of a mess right now. We'll smooth it out. And this is the middle finger. We're doing the ice cream cones on the middle fingers. And now I am getting a brush out, and I will, at some point, I'm going to be stopping to get my alcohol out because I never seem to get my stuff together beforehand. So we're just going to finish smoothing this out so that it covers the full bottom, like maybe 3/4 or 2/3 of the nail. And that's where I decided to cut that part off. Kind of looks like peanut butter on there now. We're back to the real speed now. And I will use just regular IPA alcohol for to smooth this out and to work with it a little. Eventually, assuming I'm pouring the alcohol in the thing right now. Okay, any day now. You would think by now I would learn to get my stuff together fully before I start on things. But okay, we've got it there, and now we have been smoothing it out. And we're just going to keep smoothing and smoothing with this until I get all of most of all the bumpy stuff off. It doesn't have to be perfect. I mean, it's an ice cream cone, for Pete's sakes. Don't worry about that on the bottom. We're going to clean all that off of there. I'm just trying to keep a grip on it here so it doesn't come off of the stand. And I think we have smoothed it off fairly well. Just a little bit of a divot there. And I am going to clean all the excess off the back. Now there was a little bit that kind of rolled over the edges that I went back in at the very end, which I don't show, and with my e-file and cleaned off underneath there anything that like slopped over to the underside or around the edge enough that it was sticking out too much. I won't show that part, but that's what we did. Now I've just got alcohol on here, and I'm just going to clean this off. I mean, this really wasn't necessary. The other stuff is going to go right over top of that, but I just felt like I needed to clean it. Alrighty, now we're ready to make the little grooves in there. Now what I used for this is, oh wait, I'm going to smooth it some more. You can use all kinds of things to do the lines for the grooves. Now, what I started using it when I first was trying to do a quilted nail. This is what I used to do that also. But what I use is a dental floss pick. You know, the ones you'll see in a second here. I'm fishing it out of my drawer. Whenever you see this thing vibrating, it's because I'm digging around in my drawer. See one of these little floss picks? That's what I use for this stuff. I also use this for removing my nails sometimes. Yes, I can hear everybody cringing out there. I know you're not supposed to do that, but if they're already kind of loose, then I use that to run it underneath there, and they pop right off real easy. And after a month's worth of wear, they usually are a little on the loose side, some of them. But anyway, for this purpose, we're just using it to put the lines on the ice cream cone. And you just gently press it in and kind of roll it across. It worked out pretty nicely for this. And then I'm just going to smooth my edges down a little bit. And then we'll pop that in and give it a cure. Now I cure these for 2 minutes when I'm doing the carving gel, because I want to make sure it cures all the way through. And while that is curing, I'm going to be getting out the pink for the pink ice cream cone. Now I forgot to hit record on the beginning of this set, so when we get to putting this pink on there, you're going to see that it's already going to have a purple scoop on there that I did, and then realized I didn't do record. Okay, here we go. Now I'm going to re-roll this up and get, no, I think this is what caused me an issue. I didn't get a totally smooth piece out of this. Since I added that extra piece, it kind of made a hump on one side. You don't notice it now, but as I get it on there, you'll see it. And there's the skinny piece we're going to need for the part that goes around the bottom part of the scoop. the kind of rough looking part that ends up at the bottom edges. You'll see as we get them on there. And where is the nail? Where are we here? I left all this part here in real time. I guess I could have sped through some of this. I think I'm waiting for it to get done curing there. See, there's the purple scoop that I forgot to hit record for. So this one's exactly the same as the other one, so you'll see how it goes. Whoopsie. And I did cure these in between each different thing because I was afraid of squishing it. While putting the pink one on, I didn't want to squish up the purple one and then have it look weird. So, okay, I'm trying to get this on here. And we're just going to kind of smush it down so that it goes to the edges. And try to keep the nice roundy shape. Now, right now, I don't see it, but in a second, when I start working with that, you're going to see like a hump on part of that pink ice cream. I still don't really know how that happened, but there, see, it shows up now. I think that's where I stuck the new piece onto that. I will try to smooth it out, but I didn't get it fully smoothed out in the end. But mostly, it's going to be covered up with the bottom edge stuff, and I smoothed, I think, enough of it out where it looks all right. And we're going to start the smoothing process. Sometimes you'll get it to where it looks fairly smooth, and then after you stop wiping it with the alcohol, it seems like it comes back sometimes. And I was trying not to crush the whole thing because I still wanted a nice shape, but in the end, I just decided, you know what, all of the ice cream scoops are not going to be exactly the same, so if this one looks a little wonky, that's just going to be the way it is. Another thing, too, I can tell you is this nail is definitely not going to break because it is super, super thick. I mean, you really would have to put some pressure on it to break it in half. All right, come on, that's enough fussing. We're just going to have to let it be. Gotta learn to let things go sometimes. It looks like it has a goiter. Oh boy, okay, I think I'm finally done messing with it. But now we're going to put this little skinny piece around the bottom edge. Just press it on there. And then, once we get it on there, I will take, I'm using a little push pin. Well, eventually you'll see it. I wanted to get a little bit more of it off of the purple. I covered up too much of my purple one. I should have put the purple one on top. And I could have had more of that one, being as that's my favorite color. Okay, I've got my push pin. And I'm trying to get a grip on here. And now we're just going to go all along that edge and poke this full of holes. As you can see on the bottom one, it gives it that little rough edge finish that makes it look like kind of the rough edge of the bottom of the scoop. And you just want to keep poking it until you're happy with it. And now I'm going to try to smooth that other one out again. Yeah, this one got a bit fussy, and you can't even see what I'm doing anyway because it's out of the shot. Oh well. Oh, there was a little bit of it. I tried. Okay, see, you still can see it, but I don't think it looks that bad. I was wishing it was a smooth scoop there, but it's not, and that's just how it's going to be. But that's going to be ready to go in. Oh wait, no, it's not ready for curing. I got one more thing to add to it before I cure it. I'm still trying to smooth it out. And we're going to play with it some more. Sorry, I didn't realize this went on this long. I would have cut part of this off. Okay, come on, it's not going to smooth. Alright, I'm hoping I'm finally satisfied now. Nope. Oh boy. Now it looks like it's slightly melting on the top part. Okay, I think we're finally done messing with this now. Well, I gotta get it back on the stand. Okay, now before we cure that, I'm going to add one little cherry on top. So we'll just get out a teeny tiny little bit of red. I think this is probably the most of the different colors of these that I've used this whole time I've had them. And we're going to make a little round ball with the red, and then it is going to go right on top. Boop. There we go. Now it should be ready to cure after I get done fussing with this again. I kind of wanted to just fluff it up a little bit more because it was looking a little flattened and move it more towards the center. Okay, that went into cure. Now I'm mixing up the green for the mint chip ice cream. I'm just going to show you this other scoop of ice cream on this other one, and then I will we'll move on. There will be a chocolate ice cream scoop that goes on top of this one, but at this point I decided you'd already seen me do 2 of these. That was enough. But I have got the green mixed up to my liking now. And there's the ice cream ball. And now I'm realizing I didn't make enough for the little ruffly bit that goes around the bottom. And I could have mixed that green in a little better, but it's alright. Also, I've sped this up too. Since you already saw the first one, I figured you don't need to see it in total detail again. It occurs to me too that as I'm watching this, instead of mixing those two together like that, I also have pigments I could have mixed in instead of mixing the 2 colors together. And now I've got the long snaky thing, which is now way more than I needed. So this one's going to have a big ruffly edge on it. And we're just going to poke it all up again. Poke, 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 poke. These are the kind of things I like, working with things like this where you really can't mess it up. Just going to poke a bunch of holes in it. It's not easy to mess up. Okay, we'll get the excess off. And then that will go in to be cured. And then you won't see me doing it, but there will be a chocolate scoop on top of that one with a cherry on top like the other side. And what I used... Okay, now what are we doing with this now? Why do I have just such... Oh, I know what I was doing. Okay, I forgot. Before that goes into cure, we got to add the chocolate chips. Okay, I totally forgot what I was doing. All right, So I'm just going to take some of the brown. Just going to make some little bits out of it, some little tiny bits. They don't have to be perfect. I'm just going to stick some on there. I kind of rolled them around so they were sort of spherical, but not fully. Yeah, I don't know, how could I almost forget to add that I had to add the chocolate chips to the mint chocolate chip ice cream. Okay, after these get on here, then it's going to go in to be cured, and then you won't see the chocolate scoop. And we'll be ready to move on to the next part. All right, we're ready to go with this. I'm just going to use the alcohol to kind of push them in there a little and help them to stick to the ice cream. Okay, and now we're going to move on. We're back to the first one now. Now we are going to matte top all of those other nails because we want the base color to stay matte. Or the finish, we want it to be matte. So that is all we're doing here. And then we will cure those. And now we're ready to move on. Okay, now I've got brown again. This is some of that lighter brown that I mixed up that I had left over. And there's some more of it. I'm going to make two balls. This is going to be for, these are the thumbnails where these are going to be for donuts now. I'm just trying to get it rolled into a ball. That one is very crumbly and does not look good. Okay, here we go. We got two balls, one slightly bigger than the other one. Now, going back in hindsight, I would not make the holes as big in the middle of these donuts as what I ended up doing. I think they got to be a little too big. And I'm just going to brush a little bit of alcohol on here just to get those a little bit wet on the back, so hopefully they'll cause it to stick on here better when it's wet, you know, when it then cures. Okay, there's the one donut. We got it on there. Now we're going to get a dotting tool. I did dip that in alcohol just so it wouldn't stick in there. Now see, if I had stopped there, it would have been good, but then I kept going and it just got bigger and bigger. And that one actually doesn't look as bad, but some of them it just got really too big in the middle. Now I'm just going to smooth this out a little bit more with the alcohol and try to get some of the wrinkles and lumps and bumps off of there. Let's see, this also caused it to get bigger in the middle when I was trying to get the brown out of the middle. It just pushed the edges out more and more. And I didn't want it to be totally flat to the edge. I wanted it to look like it was a roundy, you know, shape to it. So kind of went around the edge of there. Now I have cured that one, I think. I believe it's been cured. And then we're going to go in with the second one. The problem is it's trying to come off the nail stand there. And we're just going to do the same thing. Whoopsie. I was trying to get it to go all the way through. And now it's really kind of misshapen, worse than it was already. And I'm just going to give this a little alcohol again, but I believe this is the one that I ended up putting glue on. It's going to be at a sideways angle. I didn't want to crush it down too much, but it kind of ended up getting there. Now you'll notice that the bottom part of it is like loose from the nail. It's not staying down on there very well. So I think this is where I'm going to get out my gem glue. Yep. And we're going to put it underneath that bottom edge of that one. So I just wanted to make sure that once it cures that it was going to be stuck to the nail really well and it wasn't going to pop off of there. See that whole edge? We're just going to lift it up that whole edge. Put some glue under there. And then we're going to gently push that down into the glue. I'm trying to get the shape back because it's a little wonky now. And we'll smooth it off. Try to get the excess glue and whatnot out of the middle. And then I think we're ready to cure that one. In we go. And now, okay, now we're moving on to the frosting. I'm going to use this pink for the pink frosting, of which I will go and do all that first, and then I'll go back and do chocolate sauce. And we'll start with this. Okay, I'm going to use a dotting tool. I'm going to start with the drips on the top. They're not going to be very big on this because obviously the donuts are right there. And we're going to make the bottom of the drip part first with the dotting tool. And then I will get my detailer brush out. And you don't need much on there for this part. I just needed to get the drip lines on. I just wanted to get my brush with paint on it a little bit. We're just going to go ahead and make the drip lines. Kind of round out the bottom of the drip where they connect on. And then we got to get the top part on. And then we just need to fill it all in. You could fill in that top with the brush from the, the polish bottle, and it would be faster, but that isn't the way that I did it. And we will just carry on filling in on here. Now, as I was doing these nails, I was curing them, like each one as I was going along, because I was afraid that my drip lines and stuff would start to spread and run on me. Like the last time, a few sets ago, I did a striped set, and I did the whole rack striped, and then cured them, and my polish started to spread out and run, and then the stripes didn't look so nice. So I learned my lesson from there. But now we're just going to frost this one donut here. Now when I started off on this one, I was trying to do drip lines going down the sides of the donut, but then I decided that just looked sloppy and I wasn't liking it, so I didn't do any more after that. But we're just going to frost this right up. Now on the other thumb, I reversed the colors on it and did chocolate sauce at the top of the nail and chocolate frosting on the bottom donut, and then pink on the top. So it'll be just opposite of this one. You know, this was me trying to add some kind of drip lines onto the side, and then I just decided I didn't like it. It kind of made them look a little sloppy. Looks like we got a crack in that one. Let's cover it up with frosting. And that was when I decided I didn't like the way that looked. Okay, we just want to get our frosting going down the edge a little bit more. On another note, I have some really cute, I guess you call them charms, that I had bought recently or a while back. I thought I was going to use them on nails. They're like little ice creams and donuts and cupcakes and little things like that made out of some kind of, I don't know what, but I got them. They're really cute, but they're big. I mean, I know people use them on the kawaii nails, but personally, I don't usually like those big, giant, chunky things on there. So I've got this whole bunch of these now, and I don't know what I'm going to do with them. I may go ahead and try to do a set of the kawaii nails at some point, but not rushing into it at all. But they're just so big. They're like they hang off of the nail by a considerable amount, and they're just super big and chunky, and I'm not a big fan of that. That's why you won't see me using those huge chunky rhinestones or crystals and stuff either, for that same reason, because I don't like the big chunky stuff. And we're going to carry on painting the frosting on here. I've lost track of what finger this one goes to now. Now I'm just going to round these off a little at the top where the drip is coming out of the main frosting blob. I'm not sure if this is the one, but on one of these with the pink frosting drips like this ends up getting not cured long enough, and it wrinkles. So I will show you how I deal with that later. Okay, then we moved on to here. Now this one I started off with the top part of this doing the pink, and then on the other one I went in with white and to make it be whipped cream, and then I decided that made a lot more sense than having this pink frosting on there. So I will go back and go over all this pink with white. I won't show that part, but just know that I did. In the finished set, you won't see this on here with pink. I realized it didn't make a lot of sense after I got it done. So Made more sense to have the whipped cream up there. And that is all we're doing on that. Okay, we're moving on to the brown now. This is what I'm calling this chocolate sauce. And I must be cleaning my brush, I think. Oh, I'm digging around in my drawer again. You can always tell when the picture gets shaky because I'm shaking the whole desk. Okay. Now, underneath the green ice cream, right along the top edge of the cone, we're going to also have some chocolate sauce dripping down. This one was a little easier said than done because of the grooves in the cone was making it hard to get nice smooth lines going down through there. Well, you can almost see what I'm doing. Well, at least you guys aren't getting the top of my head in the picture anymore for me leaning over to try to see what I'm doing when I'm doing real close-up stuff like that. See, when I get to where the grooves are for the cone, it wanted to go down in there and just not cooperate. Frankly, I think I could have made the drips on this part a little bit longer. I think that might have looked a little better. And they're not like real nice, perfect drips like the other ones are either. These are kind of a little bit on the wonky side. See, all of my polish kept wanting to go down in the grooves, and then it was disappearing from the top part. Okay, I think we're done with that one. That's what we got so far. Bear in mind that that pink on the top will be changed to white. And now we are, okay, now we gotta go and frost that other donut on this one. It's gonna do the same as we did with the pink, but we're gonna do it with chocolate this time. Yeah, as I was doing each one of these nails, I was putting them in to cure and then moving on to another one, then putting them in to cure. And I was rotating between the ones you're seeing me work on and the ones for the other hand too. So I could like do all of the pink all at once and then switch to the brown. So I lost track of how long some of them had been in the lamp as I was just setting them in there as I was going along and then taking out some and going back and forth. So I believe that is how the one pink one with the drips got wrinkled. I don't think it was in there as long as I thought it was. So I don't normally do it like this. I normally like to do a whole rack and cure them all at once, but in this instance I thought it would be better to do it this way. Then I don't have to worry about stuff running while I'm doing the rest. Okay, that one went in. Now we're on to this one. We are going to do the drips in chocolate sauce on this one as soon as I get some more, because I don't have enough now. Same as we did with the pink ones. That one got off to the side a bit there. Looks a little weird. This is the part I have trouble with, is the top section. I never know what to do on the top part. We're almost out of chocolate sauce here. We need more. Having a problem scooping it up now. There's not enough on there. Time to get some more sauce. It just occurred to me I could have also used the lighter brown and had a caramel sauce. Well, now it's just making me hungry, that's all. It stinks too, because I can't eat ice cream anymore. It hurts my teeth. All right. And I'm just going to even out the top, because this brown is kind of a little bit sheer if it's thinned out. And we're done with that one. That one's going to go in the lamp. And now this is the ring finger. We're just going to do 2 drips on this one, and they're going to be shorter because this is the one we're going to glue the pastries onto that we're going to use. See, I think my top part there needed to be more at the top. The big part of it needed to have a fatter part, I think. Okay, and these are the colors that I am going to use for the sprinkles. As you can see, I had to mix up some pink and some green because I did not have, oh, and the yellow. The yellow is one of my Venalisa Mud Gels. Okay, here's where we're going to see the problem. Before we get onto those sprinkles now, we got to fix this issue, and this is how I do it. See how it's wrinkled? Now, this doesn't always work, what I'm about to do, but sometimes it does. If you catch it when it's fairly fresh like that, what we're going to do is we're going to use regular top coat, no wet top coat, which I'm going to get some out of here. And I am just going to cover all of that with the top coat, all of that where the pink is. I'll try to get a little bit neater. I got my drops on the ends of these drops got to be a little bigger than they needed to be, but I was more concerned at this point with getting them to be not wrinkly. Okay, now I'm just going to get in there and I'm just going to spread that out so it's totally covering all of the pink. As you can already see that the wrinkles are starting to disappear. Now this didn't fully get rid of them, but it did mostly, and then with the rest of the stuff, the sprinkles that go on and another layer of top coat later, and you couldn't even tell that it was wrinkled. So I'm really not sure how this works or why, I just know that it does. And that's my go-to. Now, like I said, it doesn't always work if it's like really super badly wrinkled and it's on a it's on a nail where you need it to be nice and perfectly smooth, then you're probably going to have to start over. But okay, that one went in, that one went into cure. Now, is that the one or is it the other one? That's the one we just did, I think. The pinky nail, oh no, that's the one we did. See, you can barely see any of the wrinkles now. So, now we're ready to move on. We're going to be ready for the sprinkles now. And I'm only going to show you a little bit of this, and then the rest I'll do off camera. But I'm going to start off with the yellow. Now this yellow, I don't know that I showed this or not. This is one of the Venalisa Mud Gels I got a while back. I did not have any paint. Oh, by the way, all those sprinkle colors that I did, those are all Saviland gel paints. But I did not have any yellow. The set didn't have yellow. It had gold and silver, red, blue, and white. It seemed like it should have had yellow. It should have had at least all the primary colors. So anyway, I'm using this mud gel for my yellow, and I'm just going to go on down both racks. I'm just going to put the yellow sprinkles on wherever they're going to be. Now you'll notice that that one has the whipped cream on the top, and it looks much better than having it be the frosting, I think. Although the other one was the one I did the frosting on, but just as it is, you can just, I think it looks better being white anyway. But we're just going to carefully paint these sprinkles. I'm going to go on both racks and do all the yellows, which I won't show all of the other rack, I don't think. I was trying to figure out how I could make a bunch of little colored sprinkles, but by making some really skinny little ropes out of the carving gel and just cutting them up. But I figured that was just going to be way too time consuming, and I just didn't want to do any more at that point. So we're just painting them on. But every place where there's frosting or chocolate syrup, we're going to be putting sprinkles. This one was, this being a mud gel, was a little harder to work with as far as getting these to go on there nicely, because it wanted to be, it's much thicker, so it was harder to get it to string off of there and not make a mess. Okay, now we're moving on to the pink. I did not cure these in between on them. I didn't cure any of the sprinkles in between. Seeing as how I was holding the whole rack, I figured I'd be okay to not bump anything that way. Now the pink doesn't show up very well on the pink frosting, so I didn't put very many on those. And then trying to get the sprinkles to go in different directions, that's another whole thing. So they're not all going the same way. There's the ice cream that's got the whipped cream that used to be pink, and now it's white. See, it looks much better now. And it needs sprinkles on there too. A little bit. Just a little bit. If these would have been dots instead of like long line, you know, well, not long lines, but short little lines, it would have been way easier, I think, to do. Because then I could have just popped them all on there very quickly with the dotting tool. This is also not a good time to have shaky hands. Painting these tiny little things. And see, they don't show up very well on the pink, even though it's a darker. Okay, now what I'm doing, I've done all the rest of the colors. Now I'm going to go over every place where there's the frosting or chocolate sauce, and I'm going to go over all of that with my top coat. Being careful not to get it on the base color of the nail, which is still matte like we want it to be. This, I think I have sped this up in here because, you know, it's just top coat. And you can easily see what I'm doing. But we're just going to hit up all of these. I stopped using the dotting tool on the drips too. I just went in with the blob on the end of my brush. It worked fine. For painting them on there initially, though, I like the dotting tool. But this is just going over them, so not so much, not so bad. I did cover over the cherry with this too, I think, because I wanted it to be shinier. but I did not top coat over the ice cream or the cone. And we're just carrying on with that. We're almost done. Well, yeah, I should say we're fairly close to being done. 2 more steps to go after this. Okay, I've done all those. Those have all been cured. Now we're moving on to the little pastries. Where you saw on her set, she had little macarons. Well, I'm going to use something else. I have got these little pastries. I've had these for a long time. My daughter at one point ordered me a grab bag of stuff from Bundle Monster that came with all kinds of different stuff in it, and these little pastries were part of that, which I never had a use for them up till now. I wasn't sure what to do with them. At that point in time, I wasn't putting like bigger things on my nails, so I really didn't know what to do with them, but they worked out nicely for this. And there I am with paint all over my glove, getting ready to get that everywhere. These 2 guys here would not come apart. They just did not want to come apart for me. These are actually really kind of cute. They got all kinds of little stuff on them. And these are going to go on the ring fingers. I will just show you, well, I don't know if I show you both of them or just the one, but okay, this is where we've done shorter drips on the ring fingers so that we can have room to put these on. And I'm just going to lay these on here at first and try them out, decide what I want to use. And that's where to go with those. So we will need the gem glue again. And I'm going to use a pretty good size blob for it, because these being a little bit bigger and bulkier, I want to make sure they stayed on. And I don't know what I'm doing at the moment right now, but seeing as how my glue was already out from before, I shouldn't be needing to look for it. Okay, here we go. You'll see that's a pretty good size. I really probably maybe didn't even need quite that much, but I like to be sure stuff is not going to fall off if I'm gluing things on. And we're going to pop that one right on there. Well, if you watch it, you'll see it start moving around. It's not going to want to stay still. This one is going to do the same thing. When you have a big lot of glue like that, whatever you put on there is going to want to move around, especially if it's a big, bulkier, or heavy item. And where have I gone now? I think I was cleaning that blue stuff off my glove. Okay, so here's the other one. Now see how they're going to start moving around? See how they're sliding? So I can't just pop that in the lamp because it would slide right off the edge. See, there it goes. It's going to fall. So I am going to get out my little handy dandy LED flashlight. Now I've taken the stamper head off for this, but I'm going to give these a little bit of a cure here, just so they will hold still where I want them to be and not slide around anymore. And once I'm satisfied that they're not going to slide around, I will put them in the lamp and finish curing that. And then I believe I did the other one off camera. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I did. Okay, so what we're doing here is just taking my matte top coat, and I'm just going to go around the ones where I've glued stuff on, where there may be glue on the nail showing, you know, where it's slopped out. So that those pastry ones and the ones with the donuts, those are the ones. So you can see a little bit of gluey stuff on the bottom there. I just want to make sure that's covered up and it doesn't show. And then we will cure those, and then we will be done. There we are. There's the finished set. Looks pretty tasty to me. If you liked them, please give me a like. If you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. I upload every Saturday. Occasionally you may get a bonus one during the week if I have time. I don't know. But I do really appreciate you watching my videos. I'm glad. I hope it helps you to learn how to do some of this stuff. That's how I learn everything I know, watching other people's videos. So here is the finished picture, and that is it for me. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time.